Greetings. This is Justin Allen, the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, a podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system, and frankly, screw that. I'm sick of it, and it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take a measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked to the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help the nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Hello, everyone. Today we'll be talking to Kary, who is a family nurse practitioner. Currently, she's working part-time at a med spa. Kary is currently in the process of starting her own practice where she would like to provide women's health services in an established practice. She's needing help with what services to offer, how to navigate the startup process while maintaining her part-time job, and determine if she should accept insurance or stay with a cash-only practice. Hey, Kary, how are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
Hey, doing good. Thanks for hopping on here. So tell us a little about yourself, how long you've been a nurse practitioner for, and what sorts of things you've been doing.
Yeah, so in my 10th year of being a nurse practitioner. I was a neonatal intensive care nurse for 5 years prior to that. Family nurse practitioner. I have done primarily OBGYN and women's health for the last 10 years. I was actually at a really busy OBGYN practice up until this last June. And I switched over to working out of a med spa just for flexibility with kids and all that. And so I'm only doing, I'm doing perimenopause, menopause, weight loss, and I am seeing some men, for TRT and all of that. So yeah, and I'm enjoying that. I like my job that I'm at. I've got great flexibility. I almost act as if I'm running my own practice, right? I can set my schedule, hours, all that, but just really, aware of how much money is going to the owner versus myself. And I had a day recently where, the whole day was my former patients at OBGYN who had found me and just kind of had an epiphany of, my patients are coming to see me, which I'm very grateful for, but just idea of what can I do here on my own going forward.
Sure, I get it. You start kind of realizing how much money you're making other people, right?
Right. Yes, the owner drives a Bentley, so that's it's
okay.
It's and so I'm struggling because I do make decent money there. I'm straight commission, and I make a solid. I'm busy now. I'm booked out. A couple months. I'm busy, but I want to have even more autonomy and just I'm ambitious and I want to do my own thing. So I've had an opportunity arise to do that, but trying to follow the elite model where you keep the part-time job. I do have a compete, contract that I'm trying to figure out how to do. So that's where you come in, I guess. Where I'm seeking counsel. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to follow the elite MP model. You want to, maintain your job while you start this practice up, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Without ruffling too many feathers.
Yeah, that's the smartest way to do it. So,
right.
So I would say do what you can to maintain that as much as possible, because that income that you make, in your part-time job will basically help sustain your livelihood while the practice hopefully gets up and running, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's what I did, and it's what a lot of people I know. I
Right.
think quitting your job and going straight into a business is pretty stupid, to be honest with you. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't think it's really a wise thing to do. So your head's in the right place. So,
Yeah.
tell me about the opportunity here.
Yeah.
What are you wanting to do?
So there's two female pelvic floor therapists in our town that I've been referring to for years. They started their own pelvic floor PT practice, and they moved into a bigger location. They have two offices out of it, and they approached me and said, if I had ever been interested in starting my own thing, they would rent one of those rooms to me for $1,000 a month. That's everything, and that's very affordable in our town. Very affordable. And so it just got those wheels turning of like, maybe this, things happen for a reason. Like maybe it's that time. But yeah, just I can't, my contract says I can't, do anything on the side that directly competes with my current employer. So I'm a cash at the med spa. It's cash pay. So, if I take insurance at this other place, if I do just, pelvic floor care, essentially, pelvic pain, postpartum care, all of that, is that different enough to not get in hot water? Is it not broad enough to be busy? All those thoughts are going through my head.
Right. Yeah. Um, what is there a distance limitation for your non-compete? 30 miles? I mean, like, is there like a
Yeah, I think it was like 75 miles, and there's a no soliciting, all of that. I'm
right?
married to a lawyer, which helps. But yeah, and I don't know how enforceable it is. My contract actually, when um I signed it, they had thought I would come on and they'd teach me how to do Botox and filler. And so my contract calls me a nurse injector. It doesn't say anything about hormones or weight loss, and I don't inject anything. They have a nurse injector now. So my contract almost, I feel, could be null and void. My husband's trying to figure that all out, but um
Well, did you talk to a lawyer?
well, my husband is one, so yeah, he's
Oh,
trying to figure out. Yeah, he's trying to he's got a partner in his firm that does employment law, so he's trying to really get to the bottom of if it's enforceable, if it's not accurate.
right. Well, I mean, a lot of states it's not enforceable,
Right,
Yeah, so you might want to maybe just look up to see if it's enforceable to begin with in your state.
right,
A lot of states are just not enforceable, right?
right,
The solicitation clause, now that's going to be enforceable really no matter where you're at. So that's going to be something you're going to
right.
have to, be careful with. Um,
Yeah, and
yeah,
I mean, it's our town is small, and I mean, it's about 55,000. It's all of my business is word of mouth. I mean,
yeah.
I didn't even tell anyone I left OBGYN and people found me. So,
Well, let
um,
me ask you this. So, you want to do this pelvic floor, this kind of women's health stuff, out of this established practice. I mean, do you honestly think that there's enough business in that in a town of 55,000 people to really generate any kind of significant income?
I mean, the pelvic floor therapists they're booking out 3+ months. They are hiring more PTs and they feel like we only have two OBGYN practices in town. And then there's a handful of kind of people like myself doing out of med spas or, a couple places doing hormones. So they really feel like they could just flood patients right to me, like just internal referrals, like for incontinence, for all the stuff that they're seeing patients for, that they have to wait to get in at OBGYN for so long, or they have to, um, you know, you wanted one of the biggest OBGYN practices in town stopped taking Blue Cross Blue Shield. So, they're just having trouble finding places to send patients. So it feels like they could kind of be just an internal referral right there.
So you have some pretty significant referral sources here. You feel like you
Oh
could
yeah.
probably get pretty healthy amount of patients from this. You're
Yes.
confident in that.
That's kind of why they want me there. Yeah. Because they're struggling. They used to refer to me exclusively when I was at OBGYN, and then I left there. And so now they're like struggling, who to There's one other OBGYN doctor at a different practice that they refer to, but she's, pretty surgical heavy. So they're like, who do we refer for this in between where we just need to get someone who doesn't need surgery, but needs some vaginal estrogen or, all that.
Right. I mean, you're non-compete. I mean, you're not competing. I mean,
Right.
how
They
are you
don't want
competing? How are you
moms
competing
with
against?
babies screaming at the med spa, right?
Right. Yeah. Like you're not,
Yeah.
I don't think you're competing against them at all. Like it's, as long as you're not offering the same services, you're not competing, right? Like, I mean, it's
Right.
pretty
The
much it.
only the only tricky part is, right, you see a woman who's having pelvic floor issues and it's going to be very hard for me not to have an HRT conversation if she's not on HRT, right? Like that's you
Right.
know, so that's where it's going to get sticky. I mean, I don't have to advertise that I'm doing that, and I don't know. Yeah, that's where it's tricky.
Right.
I just tell
Well,
patients, like, I can't, you come see me at the other place for that, or, know what I say.
yeah, I mean, you could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, first and foremost, just see if it's enforceable first and foremost, right? I mean,
Right.
it's kind of
Yeah.
hard to make a decision here without knowing
Oh
that.
gosh, yeah.
Yeah, if it's not enforceable and you don't have to fucking worry about it, right? Like you just don't got to worry
Right.
about it, right?
Right.
The state that I was living in, it wasn't enforceable, so I didn't really give two shits about signing. You know, it was just more or less a scare tactic, is all it was.
Yeah, I feel like that is what it is because I think the owner's been burned before, training people up and they go and start their own thing. I get that. Um, but yeah, so
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So, anyways, though, just see if it's enforceable. If it is enforceable, then yeah, you're kind of bottlenecked here. You're going to have to more or less just stick to the pelvic floor stuff. Now, the other
Right.
option you have is that you can travel outside that 75-mile radius and open up something. It's going to be an hour and a half drive for you. That's not
Right.
the end of, that's not the end of the world.
Right. Yeah. I've thought
Is there?
about, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, is there somewhere within 2 hours of you that lacks some of these services, hormone replacement therapy, weight loss, etc.?
Right, right. Yes, most likely. The problem is the clinic I work for with the med spa, she has covered the whole state with the clinics everywhere. So it's that's
Yeah, but the non-compete should
it's,
only be for the
it's just
location
within
that you're
my, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
correct, just yours, right? Yeah,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
I mean, she might have, multiple clinics, but I guarantee you there's still going to be a service,
Right.
desert somewhere. I guarantee
Right.
it.
Right.
So I guess, so you got two options. Well, you got three options here. Number one is obviously if it's enforceable. If it's not, I would say fuck it and just do whatever you want to do.
Right.
Number two is it's enforceable and you stay in the area and you go to other practice and you open up shop there and just stick with the pelvic floor stuff and make sure that you're a good girl and don't break the non-compete for 2 years, whatever it is, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then
that's
option
not
three is just travel outside the area and find somewhere else. Like
yeah. And
those are
then
your
the
options.
kind of revenue thing I'm thinking is, the coaching stuff you've talked about. I want to take that course, but I'm from originally and the other side of the country, and I've got a ton of friends and family that are, you know, I'm I could just literally do like, okay, half my job is just educating women on perimenopause and menopause or other providers that are coming up and they have no idea how to do half this stuff. And so I've thought about, I could also offer that type of thing to supplement if the pelvic floor stuff isn't getting as busy as I thought out of that space or whatever.
You could do some telemedicine outside the state if you wanted
Yeah.
to. I mean, you could do
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Especially if you have some connections, in other places where you could get some referrals.
Right.
That's definitely a good option. I mean, at the end of the day, you only need 100 patients
Right.
to have a pretty successful clinic that's making you some decent money, right?
Right.
Like
And
you
yeah,
don't need
that's the
anything crazy.
right. And that's the next piece. I have liked the simplicity. I love the simplicity. I don't love getting credentialed and dealing with insurance company, but if I'm going to set up shop with these pelvic floor gals, it feels like I at least their biggest payers Blue Cross, and they feel they get reimbursed really well with them, and they just feel right that would be a barrier to a lot of their patients if they had to pay cash. And so I'm thinking maybe I do, the hybrid practice where I'm insured with the two big payers in this region and then everyone else is cash pay.
Right. I mean, if you don't accept insurance for something like this, and all these people have insurance and expect to use their insurance, you're really going to decrease the amount of patients you can see. I mean, probably 50% at least, right?
Right.
So that's going to be something that you're going to need to be cautious about.
Well, and I feel like I can tell if I'm doing insurance at this other place, it feels like, that's not competing then with the med spa, right? They don't take insurance. So in a way.
Correct. Right. So right. Like so you could argue that, be like, I'm taking insurance. How am I competing against you?
Right.
I mean, it depends on how much she really wanted to spend taking you to court at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Even though your husband could give you an opinion, I mean, that's really all the law is at the end of the day. It's just opinion.
Right.
Who
fights their opinion? Who proves their opinion better?
Who proves their opinion? Right. Exactly. Right. Who uses, various case law in the state, Yeah. So, I mean, you'd be taking a risk regardless if you did it. So I guess it just really comes down to how much does she want to chase you? How much money does she want to spend chasing you? Right. I mean, these kind of, these sorts of things tend to cost a lot of money and they tend to drag out for a long time. And me personally, as a business owner, I just wouldn't want to waste my time.
It's not, I don't, I appreciate what the owner's done for me and lets me do at the med spa and all of that. So I'm not trying to burn a huge bridge, but I just, I always, she and her husband are in a pretty nasty divorce and you just worry about the future of the company. And I'm like, I just want to I always like to have something on the back burner or something as a safety net. And yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So then it's kind of hard to really make a decision here without knowing first and foremost if it's enforceable or not, right? Like we can't really decide what it is that you're going to do here. So if you do pelvic floor and you go to this other practice, I would probably just accept the fact that you're probably going to need to take insurance. Okay. Yeah. If you don't, you're going to really you're going to get rid of about 50% of the people.
Right.
Okay. So, accepting insurance isn't the end of the world. I mean, I know people who accept insurance who make a lot of money. Okay. You just got to deal with the fucking headaches, right? Yeah. So, so it's not the end of the world, right? It's not the end of the world. So, if you go that route, if you do the pelvic floor route, it sounds like you want to do that anyways, regardless of what you're going to do anyways, right? Like you're going to do that.
Right. Yeah. That's what those girls are needing and wanting. It's my background's OBGYN. Yeah. So, and then, the question you always get asked when you used to do OBGYN is, oh, do you do annual exams and all that? I don't think I want to open that can of worms again and do all that. I mean, I could add that service, a lot of our patients would love to come see me for that. My old patients. So, I could do that.
You could do that. Right. So, so basically determine on what kind of women's health services you want to offer here.
Right.
And just accept insurance. So if you're going to accept insurance for this and you're going to do this, your step right now is to get this entity formed and start the credentialing process right now. Okay. Yeah. It's going to take 3 to 6 months to get credentialed. Okay. So you're not going to really start making any kind of money really probably for 3 to 6 months. Okay. Yeah. So start that tomorrow. Get it done. Okay.
I've got the LLC. I've got working on malpractice, working on
all that.
Get the credit.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So call a medical biller in your area and just begin the process of getting credentialed and get it done. Okay. Yeah. Just get it done. All right. Yeah. Now, if you have patients that you want to start hormone replacement therapy with, if you're accepting insurance, are you competing against her? It seems to me, it seemed like it'd be kind of a gray area, right?
Right.
So are you competing against her or are you not? I don't know that answer. To me, I don't think you would be because you're accepting insurance, right? So, yeah. So, one thing you could do is you could treat this as starting 2 different businesses. Okay. So you could start this insurance-based thing, do pelvic floor therapy, do whatever it is that you're going to do, treat it as a part-time thing, 2 days a week, call it a day.
Yeah.
And then another day or two out of the week, what you could do is you could open up a hormone replacement therapy wellness clinic, cash only, 75 miles away. Okay. And you have that in a small town somewhere, a town of 10,000 people, you're going to make money. Okay. You don't need to be in a big town. You just don't. I mean, I've talked to NPs on this podcast before who are in towns of 3,000, 5,000 people, and they are making a shit ton of money.
Right.
Like $70,000, $80,000 a month.
Okay? It's crazy.
It's crazy, right? So like you don't have to be in a big city or a big town. You don't, right? Like small towns are gold. They really are.
Well, and just the cost of rent versus the town I'm living in would be ridiculous. Yeah.
Right. It's so cheap to start a business in a small town. It's so cheap. And those people need those services. I don't care. One thing I always hear over and over and over again is this limiting belief. Oh, everyone in that town has Medicaid. Everyone in that town, no one in that town has money. Oh, bullshit. Yes, they do. Okay. There's always people with money. No matter where you go in this country, there's going to be people with money. Guaranteed. Yeah. So anyways, though, so you could start this 75 miles away and it be cash only. And the patients that you see at this insurance-based practice that you're going to start, you could say, well, I don't think insurance would cover the hormone replacement therapy for you. So I could refer you to my other practice and we could see you there. And it could just be telemedicine.
Okay.
But you have a physical location 75 miles away. Fucking prove that patient didn't come see me. Right. Fucking prove it. Right. So you could do that. That would be one option that you could do. And then you would establish another business somewhere else and you'd be able to basically, kind of have two patient bases in two different locations. And then you basically just sit back and you kind of just watch which clinic is taking off, which one's making you the most money, which one has the least time invested for you. Mm-hmm. And then what you can do at that point, this might be 2 years from now, but in 2 years from now, you just sit back and be like, you know what? I'm making so much more money with this cash-based wellness practice and, this little small town that, you know what? I'm just going to close this pelvic floor thing down. It's not worth my time anymore.
Right.
That's kind of what happened with me. I started multiple businesses at the same time and I eventually closed down a couple of them because I was just like, this just isn't worth my time anymore when I can focus my energy elsewhere. Right.
Yeah.
And those are the best decisions I ever made because when I put my focus in just two businesses versus 4 or 5, my income increased significantly because I was able to put that energy into just two businesses versus 4 or 5 of them. Right. So you could do this. You could do that kind of just as an experimental thing. You could go that route if you wanted to. And that'd be something. Yeah. So that'd be something you could do. And then that practice that, that 75 miles away, you can get licensed in a couple other states where you have some connections and you can just do a little bit of telemedicine out of it in some other states and just sit back and kind of just see what happens.
Yeah.
So that'd be, so that's kind of something that you could do and you would never have to worry about this on the beat ever.
Okay. And then just see what happens with the med spa, maybe eventually wrap that up. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? You'll probably wrap that up in a year or two. You'll be like, this just isn't worth it to me anymore. I'd rather make my own money.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It's wild how, even though I'm making decent money, it's crazy to see how much is going, Yeah.
Right. They're throwing you a bone.
They're
paying you 5% of what you bring in probably. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all elite nurse practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and the other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioner sisters and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Well, that's a lesson too, though, right? Like, you start your business and you see how it's done because you're the one being taken advantage of. So you see how it's done and you can take that lesson and utilize it for yourself. And then eventually you hire another NP to make you the money.
Right. Yeah. You see what it's like on this end. And
correct. Right. Yeah. There's always going to be NPs out there that do not want to start their own business. They'd be happy to work for you for $75 an hour.
Yeah. And I hope one day, I don't want to make people sign non-competes. Like if someone's ambitious and they want to go, I want to support other, women doing that, other providers. I mean, yeah, I want, I feel like you can hire a new grad and train them. And yeah, so.
You say that now until they do that and take your business away from you. You say that now.
Right, it'd be painful. Yeah.
Yeah, you say that now. I guarantee you that mindset changes in a couple of years.
I understand. Yeah, I understand when like the owner I'm with has been burned. I get it. Yeah, I get why you try to crap people a little bit. So
yeah, when it starts affecting your livelihood, that mindset will change. Okay.
Yeah, they set up a street. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you have a pretty solid non-solicitation clauses. You haven't signed a non-compete, even though it might not be enforceable. Still, just haven't signed it. It scares them.
Right.
Yeah, the state that might do it.
Or just help keep people loyal for at least a duration of time. And
absolutely correct.
Yeah.
All right, exactly. The state that my mental health clinics are in, the non-competes they're not enforceable. But I still make every NP I hire sign one.
Yeah.
Why not?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So so that would be that'd be one option that you could do. If you do that, you're going to have to hustle. I mean, you're going to be tired. I mean, this is going to take some work. It is, but, if this shit was super easy, everyone would be doing it, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's easy. It's just work, you know?
It's just
getting
the boxes and getting stuff done. And
exactly. It's not hard. It's just work. It just takes time.
Well, and there's we're at a lucky point. There's so many, software services companies, all of that do so much. There's got to find, there's ones that do the billing and the everything for the insurance and all that. So I just got to kind of research which ones.
Correct. Right. You don't have to do it all yourself. You can definitely hire people to do this shit for you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, it affects your margins a little bit, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. That's all good thoughts. Yeah. The, do you think, I mean, if I start with the pelvic floor place and doing that, do I just do it very quietly? Just take referrals from the girls there. I don't really advertise much. I mean, because I think if the owner sees that, it'll be a problem. I don't know.
Well, I mean, like I said, if it's not competing against her, I don't see what's the problem.
Right. There are NPs that do hospice on the side or I overlapped OBGYN with the med spa for 6 months.
Right. So, and she doesn't even need to know you own it. Just shut your mouth.
Yeah, right.
Just shut up. You know what I mean?
Don't talk about it. Yeah.
Don't talk about it and just don't disclose it. If she discovers it, then bring it up. If she doesn't, just keep your mouth shut.
Right.
Like sometimes silence
themselves into their own trouble, right?
Right, exactly. Right. Don't go stir the hornet's nest unnecessarily. Don't go find a beehive in the forest and bang it with a stick. Why would you do that?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So just keep your mouth shut and just do it. Now, in terms of marketing it and advertising it, so you do the basic stuff, right? I mean, you create a website, talk about your services, have a Google business listing, do that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
That's the simple, easy, free stuff. Well, a website costs you a couple $1,000 if you want it done right, but, your Google business listing. And I would probably just leave it at that. I probably wouldn't spend $1 marketing this. I would just let the referrals come in and let word of mouth spread, and we'll let word of mouth start. It'll be a little slow at first, but this will allow you to work all the kinks out the business the first few months.
Yeah.
And it'll allow you to get your feet wet with it. It'll allow you to get in that mindset of being a business owner, that sort of a thing. Like, so many people jump all in right from the start. Yeah. And then they're clamoring, and then they get super stressed out because there's too much shit going on. And then they start fucking up, and it becomes disorganized. And then patients leave because they're like, what the hell kind of business is this? So the best way to start it is just start it slow. Let those referrals come in and just let it naturally happen.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're just patient with it, it'll progress. Just trust the process. Just trust life. Just go with the flow of it. Just let it do its thing. And in time, 6 months, 12 months, you'll probably be pretty damn busy.
Well, and I saw that with the med spa, right? Like when I moved over from OBGYN, it was, very slow to start. And then now my patients found me, I have referrals, I'm booked, and I don't, I'm not big on social media. It's just all been word of mouth, which is great. And so, I think I totally see that. And I see how, I'm dropping down to 3 days in the med spa here in probably April. And that'll give me the time and all that to do 1 to 2 days at the pelvic floor, see about opening the other small town thing. And I think it'll be good.
There you go. That sounds like a plan. So I would, let's see here. Let's think about this, logically in a chronological kind of order here. Let's think about what do you need to do first, right?
Yeah.
So my advice would be, you already have referral sources. You pretty much already have guaranteed patients.
Yes.
Like, it's there. You have pretty much guaranteed patients. So that's a business that's set up for success. That is a business that you're going to have business probably starting, the very first week you'll have some patients. Right?
Yeah.
So that sounds like a no-brainer. The cash-based thing, you're going to have to advertise that, and it's going to take time.
Yeah.
This pelvic floor thing, this women's health thing, that's guaranteed. You're going to make some money. You're going to start making money. The first month, you'll probably make money. So start with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Start with that. Get credentialed. Get it done. All right. Yeah. Go in there, get set up, and start the process. Yeah. In the meantime, what you can do is you start working on this cash-based thing. All right. If it's going to take you 3 to 6 months to get credentialed,
right,
you're going to be kind of just using that time to set the clinic up, et cetera. And you'll probably find yourself sitting around not doing a damn thing because you're just waiting for the credentialing to get through.
Right. Okay?
During that time, be productive. Yeah. So I would spend that time working on the cash-based thing.
Okay.
Set up the protocols, set up the procedures, set up how you wanted this thing to run. Yeah. Set up that clinic. Follow our course and follow the process and get it set up. You can get it set up in 2 weeks. Okay. Payment processors, accounts with compounding pharmacies, all that fun stuff. Okay. Yeah. Get all that set up. And then go to a town somewhere, see if you can find a cheap place, $500 a month. Doesn't got to be fancy. It could be something real simple. Okay. Set it up. Throw a Google business listing up. You can keep the damn place empty if you want. You can just do telemedicine only if you want to.
Right.
You put a sign on the door. Seeing patients via telemedicine only for the next 3 months. Please call or visit this website. You just leave it at that. You just see a fucking empty office. Put some curtains up so no one can look into it.
Right.
And just see what happens.
Yeah.
And
I started to realize with the HRT and weight loss, right? Like 90% of what I'm doing is just talking to patients. So it's
correct. You don't need You don't need to see these people in person. You just don't need to.
Yeah.
No. Like I have always people, you need to see weight loss patients in person. Why? Can you please tell me why?
Right.
So I can weigh them? They have a scale at home. If they're lying to me about their weight, they're lying to themselves. I really don't give a shit. That's on them, not me. Like, who cares?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Right.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So you just do that. Just let it kind of just put it out there. Just kind of see what happens. You never know.
Right. Yeah, no, there's definitely some, medical islands out there. Yeah, in the area. So.
Yeah. And that might cost you $5,000 to start.
Right.
That's it. It's nothing. $5,000. Not the end of the
Yeah.
world.
No, that's awesome. I didn't even think about that. No, that didn't
Yeah,
even come to mind. Because otherwise, yeah, I'm filtering patients back to me at the med spa and losing money on that.
correct. Instead, you can
Yeah.
filter them to the clinic at 75 miles away.
Right.
Right. And then you're
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Yes, I didn't even think about that. So
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. No, 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 for sure. You're welcome. Now, there was one more thing you want to talk about, what services to offer. So
Yeah. So
the
yeah,
service, yeah. So just tell me kind of what you're thinking here.
yeah, so there's a huge gap in postpartum care, I think, in general in our country. I did it all the time at OBGYN. You have your baby, you get seen at 6 weeks, and then you're good. We'll see you in a year. And I just think that's, there's so much. Yes, women are getting screened with PHQ-9s at their pediatrician appointments multiple times, but we're missing all the education on, pelvic floor health and mental wellness and all of that. So I was thinking of offering like a postpartum kind of membership program or something where we're checking in telehealth or in person monthly at least, if not every couple weeks or weekly if needed. I don't know if that was something. And then obviously pelvic pain from the, incontinence. Might have to get back into pessaries if it's, if I'm working with the pelvic PTs, all of that.
Okay. I mean, all that sounds reasonable to me. And you bill
Right.
insurance for
Yeah.
all that, right?
Yeah. The postpartum membership program idea. I don't know if I would do cash for that or, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those. I mean, if you were seeing him regularly and billing insurance for it, you're making $100 a visit or something like that. You're seeing him every couple of weeks. I mean,
Right. Probably more lucrative to do that.
Yeah, just bill their insurance, right? You can do that. So that'd be one of those things that I don't have an answer for you there because that's just one of those. Yeah, you have to kind of just see it, kind of see what happens with that, right?
Right. Yeah. And then, just to, I don't know how, I don't know how well, annual exams get reimbursed and if that's worth doing again, or just sticking to more specialty, GYN women's services.
Yeah, I think I would probably try to be a little more specialized here. Don't be just very general with it. I mean, when you start being general with it, and you start seeing everything.
Well, yeah, when I did, when you're OBGYN, you're primary care for those women, right? You're refilling, you're doing everything at those visits at the your annual wellness. So yeah, I've always liked being more specialized for sure.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Stay specialized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That all sounds reasonable to me. I don't really have any more input there. I mean, I would say that listen to your patients, listen to their pain points, listen to what they're asking. And, in 3 to 6 months, you'll kind of get a good idea of what everyone's kind of wanting. You know what I mean? You'll get a good idea of what patients are asking for, what their pain points are. Like, just listen to your patients. Right. And just open up a Google, just a Google Doc or a Word document or something like that, and just start tallying up things that you continuously hear. Okay.
Yeah.
And then sit back and be like, you know what? Maybe I should do that. I'm getting a lot of requests for it. Right.
Right. No.
And then you do that. I mean, and that's it. Just listen to your customer and give them what they want. Okay. So what you want to offer from the start, that sounds reasonable to me. And then just be open to the idea of other things and just listen to them. Okay.
Yeah.
The cash-based thing, I think you know what you're going to offer. HRT, weight loss, vitamin injections. Like, I think you kind of know what you're doing there, right?
Oh gosh, yeah. That's what I'm doing now. Yeah, just trying to nail it down and how best to go about it. But I really like the kind of the slow opening, right? Like I've never run a business before and just kind of, easing into it. And I can see the patients. That's not the hard part, right? It's all the other just getting used to everything else. But I know it's not hard. It's just doing it. Yeah.
It's just doing it. It's just getting it done. That's it.
Yep.
Like, it's not hard. I mean,
right.
Anybody can start a business. This shit's not hard. It's just, you just got to know what to do. And you have the blueprints. You took the courses. You know what to do. Just do it. And problems will arise as you do it. There's problems that we just don't discuss in the course because there's just some things that you just cannot predict, right? What happens to you doesn't happen to me and vice versa. You know what I mean? So problems will arise as you get started. But the thing is just see the problem for what it is, learn from that problem, fix the problem. And now you know how to address that problem in the future. You've learned from it. And then you just move on with life and you keep going. And then another problem will arise. And another problem will arise. Problems always arise in a business. It never ends. There's always problems, but you learn from them, right? You become wiser and wiser and wiser. Like, that's why I feel like I'm good at doing this. I have talked to so many people about this. I've done it myself. Like, I very rarely ever hear a problem I haven't heard of. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, it's just, like, it's wisdom, right? That's what it is. It's wisdom. Yeah. So you will become a wiser business owner. You know, when I talk to you 3 years from now, you will be a wiser business owner. You're just going to be, you know what I mean?
Well, I appreciate it. And thank you for all you're doing for those of us in this stage. So I appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome. So I'd like to end the episode with you asking me a question. Do you have a question for me or a curiosity, something you kind of just wanted to just ask me specifically?
Yeah. Any upcoming conferences again, or any in-person stuff bringing people together?
Yes. So end of April, we're having another millionaire conference. Those have been pretty popular. Those have been a really good time. It's pretty small, 60 to 70 people, where we really just talk about scaling and growing a business, basically. So it gets to that 7-figure mark. We talk about scaling the business to, eventually sell, that kind of a thing.
Right.
So that'll be at the end of April. We're going to do that in Florida, I think St. Pete, Tampa area. So we'll have that in April, and then October will be the annual Lead MP conference. That's where 300 or 400 people come. That's going to be in San Diego this year. So those are going to be the 2 conferences. Yeah. And then
good choices on location for those of us in cold country.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So we got that going on, and then, that's pretty much it. So,
and then I guess more personal, you have a kiddo now. How old?
2.
Okay. Has that changed your approach to anything, or your?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously,
2-year-old. Yeah.
Obviously, that's become a priority of mine, right? That wasn't a priority before.
It just it shifts things, definitely.
It shifts things. Yeah. Like I'm working on another business right now, called Procore Start, where I'm going to teach people how to basically start their own enterprise level course business.
Oh, very cool.
And so I'm really excited about getting that launched. But like, I'm finding myself not having the time to put into it like I was able to put into a Lead MP, because now I have a little kid.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It definitely changes things and often for the better, right? Just like,
No, it's for the better. Absolutely. I never thought I could love this little creature like I do.
Right. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. So anyways, well, listen, I appreciate you hopping on here, and hopefully this was helpful, and you got my email if you want to do a follow-up.
I appreciate you. Thanks for your time.
All right, no problem. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
All right, I hope everyone enjoyed the episode with Kary. She's basically just right in the initial startup phase of this business. I think the biggest thing here that you want to walk away with is always take advantage of what you have in front of you, okay? A lot of people want to try to reinvent the wheel, and they don't utilize the resources that they have right in front of them. She has this large referral network right in front of her that's going to feed her patients. Even though she might have to accept insurance and kind of deal with those headaches, it's going to be worth her while, because she will have this business that will start basically making money right from the beginning. So always utilize what you have in front of you. It doesn't matter if you're starting a business or growing a current business or wanting to pivot and add something else to your current business. It doesn't matter. Always use what you have in front of you. Don't try to go searching for something else. Have it right there in front of you. All right, hope everyone enjoys this episode. Talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye. Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and/or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcasts. The content in this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2023 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.